What's going on, guys? So we got Gustavo today. And Gustavo, can you introduce yourself a little bit more and tell me a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. Hey, Efren, how's it going? Uh, Once again, thank you for inviting me to be part of this podcast. Hey, everyone. My name is Gustavo Mastroianni. I'm the Chief Information Security Officer at Schools Insurance Authority. I have 17 years of experience in IT and cybersecurity. I've been in a leadership position for the past 6 years. I'm happy to share some of my knowledge today with you guys and keep this going as long as we can. Let's do it.
That's good. That's good. So for the guys that haven't seen the first video, this is the second episode. I know a lot of people has been interested with the MSSP, your career path, and how everything was started. So a lot of people wanted to know your story, and this is how we're gonna pretty much want you to introduce yourself and tell me a little bit more about yourself. So first thing, what inspired you to get into cybersecurity? Because I know, as you know, as people might know, that you're a CISO right now, so you're pretty much in charge of the security role, um, the whole organization, the whole aspect, the business aspect, and also the technical aspect. So, what inspired you to get to this role, and what inspired you to get pursue to cybersecurity?
So my inspiration was so when I moved to the US back in 2017, the CEO that hired me to work for them here in Reading, MSP, he wanted to build a cybersecurity division. And 2 months after I got here, he invited me during our one-to-one. He said, "Hey, you want to build a cybersecurity division? We can start it off and see how it goes." And there you go. It took me a week to decide if I wanted to go or not, mainly because it would be a major shift in my career. My career was highly focused in networking and Wi-Fi. So moving towards cybersecurity would be a change, although
Mhm.
networking and Wi-Fi, we also need to understand to use that as to your favor in cybersecurity. So that's how it all started. Since then, I I've been enjoying working cybersecurity. We built the cybersecurity program. We built the cybersecurity division. We spun that off into a cybersecurity company, i.e., MSSP. So with that, that was a amazing experience that I had, and that was a total about I would say 5 to 6 years of experience building something from scratch all the way to a 24/7 SOC with people
Mhm.
in front of the screen.
So now you mentioned about the SOC as well, and SOC. I know you mentioned that you had the MSSP with the 24/7 SOC. Do you think that's a key point for cybersecurity? You think SOC is a big key point? Because I know a lot of people talk about SOC and SOC, but do you think it's a benefit for small, big, even local businesses to have a SOC or even an MSSP?
Yeah, nowadays there's no way for you to get around with a SOC that it's not 24/7.
Mm.
Threat actors, they don't sleep, and they can come from everywhere in the world. So you might be sleeping, but they might be awake somewhere else, and they might be
Mhm.
trying to break into your environment. So choosing the right MSSP for you, I think the first requirement should be or must be 24/7, and must be a 24/7 with people in front of the screen, mainly because uh, that's the pretty much the way that responding to a alert or to a potential incident will ensure that you're going to be able to contain a possible threat in a matter of minutes or in a matter of a couple of hours. So In I believe that the most compelling reason for a organization to choose and to partner with MSSP is first uh, choosing the right MSSP to partner with, the MSSP that is client focused,
Mhm.
that strives for excellence, and also it has integrity. Because when you were working for in cybersecurity, you have you have to abide to a code of ethics. For example, if you are certified by ISC Square, you have to abide by the code of ethics. And one of the points is integrity. So you have to do it what's right, even if no one is watching you. So 24/7, all the way,
That's
100%.
good. That's good to know. So in a good environment, you'll need you pretty much need somebody at 24/7. You need a SOC to be at 24/7. Would you say like SOC is more related, kind of related to help desks, kind of similar, but more advanced, way more advanced?
Uh, in in a way, I would say, mainly because they do not receive calls. SOC will not receive calls from users to help
Mm,
them out with something. SOC is always the SOC team will always be watching for alerts coming in, triaging those alerts,
mm,
making sure that alerts that are marked as high priority by the SIEM or by the XDR or EDR, and after performing some investigation, ensuring that the priority that was marked by the tool is actually the priority that should be uh, delivered to the client when the incident needs to be escalated.
mhm,
So the escalation is part of the process, right? There are MSSPs that they only monitor and escalate alerts to the IT department. There are MSSPs that they do that plus containment. There are MSSPs that they do uh, alerting, escalations, um, containment, and instant response. Because containment is different from instant response. Containment is pretty much you're stopping the threat to
mm,
spread across your environment. And instant response, the digital forensics and instant response is the aftermath. So you're going to investigate what happened, how it happened, what were the point of entries, what are the things that were compromised by the threat actor, if there was any kind of a data exfiltration, if the threat actor had access to um, personal information or confidential information, so on and so forth. So there are different flavors of a MSSP out there, and you have to choose the one that suits you the most uh, in terms of your business needs within the organization.
okay, okay. That's pretty good. I know you also mentioned about the MSSPs and the MSPs. I know there's as many people might know, there's a difference on them. Can you explain to me a little bit of what's the difference and what is it? What's the main focus on them? Like, let's say first of all, let's say MSP. What is
Yeah.
an MSP and what is the difference about an MSSP?
So the MSP is a managed services provider. So
Mhm.
what they do is they provide IT services and IT support to organizations that they partner with. There will always be a pinch of security because you can't do IT without basic security nowadays.
Mhm.
Examples are blocking some ports, updating firewalls, or installing firewalls, making sure that there is a EDR solution in place, MFA. Sometimes they can even go to by offering security awareness training, um, zero trust, maybe some DNS security. but they are not ready, and they are not staffed to be experts in cybersecurity whenever you need. They will have someone. They usually will have a few people in staff that are security focused, but they are not, for example, they're probably not that security team. They're probably not 24/7, and they are not highly specialized in all of the tools that a MSSP could could have any specialty on them. So that's MSP. And for the MSSP, Managed Security Service Provider, they are very cybersecurity focused, meaning that they will focus on anything related in cybersecurity. They will have people, staff 24/7. They will build a SOC, so they will have that detection in place. They will monitor your environment uh, against threats.
Okay.
So they will make sure that they can have the best visibility that they can across your environment, either at the endpoint level or at the network level or a cloud environment. So the SIEM of choice would correlate all of that data and generate alerts and escalate those alerts appropriately. That's the biggest difference. And not only a SOC, but there are other cybersecurity services that a MSSP could offer, such as firewall management or vulnerability management, uh, managed EDR. So if you have an EDR, they also could manage it, because
Mm.
you can integrate a lot of things with the SIEM, so they can collect data from those security tools and security controls that you have in place. Not only in addition to, they might offer you GRC, vCISO services. They might offer also security awareness training, phishing campaigns, the DNS security, but those are managed services, right? Managed security services.
Okay, okay.
To complement that, managed security service provider also offer professional services, and those professional services are project based, right? And the
Okay.
most well known ones, I would say, is security and risk assessments
Uh-huh.
and pen tests or red team activities. So those are the main ones that MSSPs usually offer to their clients. Uh, Managed services, vulnerability management, SOC 24/7, firewall management, so on and so forth, and also professional services where it's highly focused in cybersecurity, usually related to cybersecurity projects or cybersecurity engagements, such as security and risk assessments and pen test slash red team activities.
Okay, okay. That's pretty good. So they do have a red team. Let's say like that. They do have a red team, and they also like that's when they do the penetration testing. They do the um that pretty much analyze and figure it out like the phishing and everything else. So that's MSSPs pretty much do that too as well. So that's
Yeah,
not a more that's not an because I know there's bigger companies that do hire like a red team. They hire people to penetrate their environments. Is that something that MSSPs fully provide as well as a service?
yeah. If it's a mature MSSP, they
Hmm.
usually will provide those kind of services on top of the managed security services, and that's pretty good. Mainly because you can couple that into your security program, right? So
Hmm.
you're gonna add uh, security controls in place, and those security controls are ongoing, right?
Hmm.
It's a SIEM or DNS security, patch management, vulnerability management, MFA, uh, cloud security, EDR, and all of those things. But you also need to make sure that first you assess the risk of your organization. You have to understand what's the risk level to the organization so you can check what your risk appetite and then
Mm.
start working down the list on the findings to mitigate those findings and lower your risk to an acceptable level.
Oh, okay,
After
okay.
that, it's also a good thing for you to, because since you implemented some security controls and then you assessed your environment, you mitigated other missing controls or misconfigurations or disabled older protocols. After that, the idea is to test how effective your security program is. And to test it, nothing better than a pen tester, a good pen tester, or a red team activity. That will take your security program to the next level, because then what they're going to do is they're going to check what the vulnerabilities are. They're going to try to exploit those vulnerabilities in a way
Hmm.
that it's not harmful to your organization. And then they're going to provide you recommendations based on the exploitation that they were able to perform during that engagement. So
Okay.
that will, and the final goal is to demonstrate the impact of that exploitation. If you can demonstrate the impact of that exploitation, you can uh, uh, prioritize that finding appropriately according to your risk appetite, and then you can choose that finding to be the first one to mitigate. Or if you need budget to mitigate that finding, you can use that to help you to find that budget and work that as soon as you can. So the impact is also lower to your organization.
Okay, okay, okay. That's pretty good. So, do you think it's a high budget for a company that should be? Do you think a pen test will be cheaper or is it gonna be pretty expensive for a pen test and red team?
It all depends on the size of your organization.
Mm.
A paint test can vary from $10,000 to almost
Oh,
$100 or even $100,000 and more.
oh shoot.
Uh, for example, I can tell you that usually a pen test engagement is about 40 hours total
Okay.
in average, depending on your objectives, of course.
Hmm.
But you you can use that as a guideline. Uh, and for a 100 employee, about 300 assets, it might cost you about 15 to 18 grand for that engagement per year. So you should do that in a yearly basis, test your
Hmm.
environment in a yearly basis. But today's pricing is about between 15 and $18,000, and it can go up if you want to test it more, if you want more hours, if you want to make sure that you sweep out your environment.
Hmm.
And of course, there could be uh, different environments as well. And we're only talking about an internal pen test. We're not talking about an external pen test. We're not talking about a cloud environment pen test. We are only talking about here an internal pen test within your environment to make sure that you test your internal environment. So different types of pen tests, different pricing, uh, and at the end of the day, you gotta pick your battles and make sure that you choose that wisely so you can focus on things that will give you the the results that you are expecting so you can have a more effective security program.
Okay, okay. Shoot, that's a lot of money, man. 10,000, the cheapest?
Yeah, it's not cheap because
Yeah.
those pen testers, they are valuable. They are people who are very intelligent. They know what they are doing. They they have skill sets that normal
Not
people do
anybody
not
has.
have. Yeah.
Yeah. That's some skills right there, man. That's not I don't think it's something that is teachable. Well, it can be teachable, but it's gonna take a long time.
It's teachable as long as you apply yourself, as long as you do
Hmm.
labs, as long as you have the opportunities within the organization, as long as you want to be a pen tester, you can do it. It's only a matter of having that can do it mindset, and you will be
Hmm.
able to do it. Depending on the situation, may take more time because sometimes the organization is sponsoring you, is helping you, is giving you the right opportunities that can that goes along with your learning process.
Hmm.
But not a lot of people have those opportunities. So again, it takes time. For some, may take less. For some, may take more. But it's up to you to achieve that goal if you want to be a pen tester.
That's pretty awesome. So do you think that it's good to start in the blue team to understand the fundamentals of stuff like that, learn the defense system, then go to the red team and be a penetration tester? Would that be the route, or pretty much just gonna jump ship and go to red team? Trying to learn
I've
jet.
seen that people would do better if they start at the blue team first and
Hmm.
then goes to the red team. The reason why is because you learn how to defend, you learn how to implement security controls. You learn what the blue team is would see in terms of alerts, in terms of instance, if there is a threat actor trying to exploit any vulnerabilities within the environment or try to escalate their privileges or try to move laterally
Hmm.
or try to evade an EDR or try to bypass security controls or trying to uh, do some techniques like pass the hash. They will all see that on the screen. They will see that on how the SIEM would alert. So knowing those things, knowing how the defensive systems work, will give you the ability to have the opposite mindset when you are on the red team. Meaning
Hmm.
that how can I bypass those tools, or how can I uh, make less noise as possible while I'm performing some TTPs, right?
Hmm.
Um, techniques, and procedures. How can you do that? How can I do that without ringing a lot of bells? Because there will be a point where good SIEMs that are well configured and well maintained and well monitored, they can see the beginning of a potential attack.
Hmm.
So having that in hands, knowing how it works, will make sure that you try not to make a lot of noise at the beginning of your pen tests. And you can, and that's a good thing because one of the objectives of your pen test, for example, could be I want to enhance the detection engineering of the blue team. And by doing that, the red team will have that in mind. So at the beginning, they can try to make as less noise as possible. And
Okay.
then in conjunction with after the pen test is done, in conjunction with the blue team, you can work together to enhance the detection engineering. And part of that is the purple team, right? The purple team sits in between, but not a
Okay.
lot of organizations have a purple team. So they do they try to get to the red team and the blue team try to get together to enhance the security controls, the detection rules, and all of that. But more mature organizations, they will probably have a few people within a blue purple team, which is that team that will sit in between the red and the blue that does the that I would say checks
Oh, okay,
between
okay.
those two teams. So again, it's a pretty good, but not a lot of organizations have the opportunity to create a purple team within their organization.
I think that would be a more of a budget thing because it's you're paying someone else just gonna be a referee. Would you say
Yeah,
that?
it's not a referee per se, but it's a team that will analyze the results, and they
Oh,
will
okay, okay.
also be because they will have the mindset of the red team, and they will have the mindset of the purple team, the blue team, and by having those two mindsets, it's not going to be a referee, but they will all work together with one goal to
Oh, okay,
enhance
okay.
security and then also to create more exploitation opportunities for the red team. So it's a
Mm,
combination of a lot of things.
okay, okay. That's pretty cool. I know. I heard about the what was it, gray hats? So it's a similar. It was same thing, right? It just they just named it differently, or
No, it's a different thing. So
a
gray
different
hat,
thing.
white hat, gray hat, and black hat, they are related to the pen tester side, meaning on
Oh,
the
okay.
red team side. Uh, so white hat, they are there to help out the organization.
Hmm.
They are there to identify bugs and vulnerabilities and report that to the vendors and report that to the organization. Gray hat, they are not. They are in between the black hat and the white hat. So the black hat is like it's out there not to help too much,
Just to
right?
be
They
malicious.
to a degree, because the black hat is not looking for to help. They are usually looking for gains for him or herself, you know.
Okay.
And the gray hat is it sits in between. They want to help, but they also want to make money off of it.
Hmm.
Just like as the white hat as well. But the gray hat is more of a consultant, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah,
Pretty much like a private company or private person,
yeah.
their own entity. Okay, okay, that's pretty good. I didn't I knew that's a good explanation. That kind of separates the other wordings because I know they always confuse the blue hat and the white hats, and that's a good that's a good explanation for separation.
Hmm.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Do you think in the MSSPs they have that in like the different hats as well? Do they have the blue hat, purple hat, red hat? That pretty much have everything, or it's just pretty much blue hat and red hat with them.
So they have blue team and red team, right?
Hmm.
And on the red team, they will have white hats, right? Because at the end of the day, that's why other organizations hire the MSSP for
Hmm.
to hack into their environment
It's
and
funny how you
point
say
out,
hack.
yeah, and point out because it's an authorized hack, right? So
Yes.
it is authorized. So it's something that it happened that they do on behalf of that organization. So the organization that hired the MSSP can understand what are the gaps and what's the impact of the vulnerabilities and the gaps that they have. So
Mm.
it's two different things, and that's most of the MSSPs that they have out there.
Okay.
Uh, as I said, having a purple team is awesome, but it costs a lot of money. And at the end of the day, only well mature organizations would probably have that.
Mm.
Okay.
Good to know. Good to
Or
know.
large
It-
enterprises.
what's a
Large
bigger
enterprises.
future for that? What do you think it's I know you mentioned about the red team and the purple team. Blue team is pretty much out there already. Everybody's willing to get in. Everybody can get in. Do you think if somebody's trying to get more into pursuing to the purple team, is there a benefit for that, or is it going to be really competitive?
It's
Or
going
the
to be
red
hard
team is good?
because at the end of the day, not all of the organizations and MSSPs have a purple team. So you may act as a purple team. but at the end of the day, you're probably going to be sitting either on the red team or the blue team.
Oh, okay,
You may be
okay.
the liaison that would act as a purple team, but it's not very common out there to have a purple team. Most you're probably going to be sitting either on the blue team or the red team with a touch of a purple team to guide and help both of those teams. Okay.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
And then the MSSPs, do you what I know you mentioned about clients. You mentioned about there's some client focus. What do you mean about the client focus? You mean about business clients? Are you meaning like personal clients? We're talking about enterprise clients. How would you explain that?
So, well, your client, they usually MSPs and MSSPs, they do have their specialties, right? Because they
Hmm.
either started off by focusing in one industry, or they have more clients on that specific industry and they got better organically, or they want to focus on in the government space. They want to focus on the healthcare, SMB, commercial, and all of those things. I have a big heart for SMBs because those are the organizations that probably do not have a lot of money
Hmm.
to uh, fund a security program. So
Hmm.
make building a security program for those SMBs at a cost at a compelling cost, um, and also providing services with excellence. That's one of the reasons that I was able to build that security program and MSSP in the past, because that's what we focused on, providing great services with a great security program, and delivering those services with excellence. That was our focus. We did have clients in other industries,
Hmm.
uh, but for us, serving that is industry was our goal. But we would not like we would serve whoever we wanted, but we had that special heart, that special thing in our heart to serve those clients within the SMB industry. Okay.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. So for the people that don't know what SMB is, a small medium business. So that is that's a good point. That's a good niche right there. And also, I like you said, you're right. They don't have they might not have all the proper funding, but that's something that you can provide to them and help them at a good price. So, and I believe SMBs are mo the most vulnerable for
Yeah.
anything for to being getting hacked, just for the reason they don't have the protocols, the policies, the budget. So it is something that is good to provide for that. So in your journey through that whole MSSP journey with SMBs, did you learn a lot from that journey, or you think you learned a little bit more on other places that you've worked at? Do you think it was a more of a do you think it pretty much gave you that hope of like being that next person to help somebody, or how did that impact you?
Absolutely. So, being able to make an impact in our industry, it makes me feel good, first of
Mhm.
all. Uh, and making an impact on SMBs as well, it also makes me feel good. So being able to provide those services to SMBs, it's like organizations from 5 people all the way to 200, 300 people. That's the kind of the range for SMBs. Uh, it if you can do that, you have to understand what their pain points are first,
Mhm.
and being able to understand that, you can create a security program or try to tailor a security program for them and ramp it up over time. Sometimes they don't have the budget for you to create a full security program. So you start off small, but at least you're starting. First
Hmm.
you begin, then you get better, right? So if you can start small by implementing security controls that have become somewhat of a commodity
Hmm.
out today. EDR, MFA, security awareness training, phishing campaigns, uh, DNS security, all of those little things. The more things you add, the better their security will be, and then you can show the value over time by providing them monthly reports, by having that touch bases uh,
Hmm.
every month, providing them with information on how those security controls were effective for that month. That's the way to go. You are going to win the client over time.
Hmm.
Uh, and the more you can, the more you can educate your client on how important is adding more security controls and creating that defense in depth
Hmm.
strategy, so you can achieve a full managed security program that will be helpful to the client and understand, okay, I need to create a budget for this.
Hmm.
Let's create a 3-year plan. So let's start off with the first year and then the second year and the third year. By creating that plan, it helps you to understand where you're at and helps you to understand how to be better within the next 2 to 3 years. So that's one of the things that you can do to help out a SMB. Create that plan because they're probably not going to have enough money to uh, fund a full security program right out the gate.
Okay, that's good to know. What would you give an advice for somebody, let's just say for small, let's say SMB, a small medium business. So what would you recommend them for like what tip would you give them to first work on? It was like, hey, you need to work on your networking security. You may have to work on your policies. You might have to do some phishing campaigns. Just some free advice for somebody that's maybe just listening to this that might be has a small business or medium business, and just kind of I believe that that's also going to give you a little bit more of an open door for them to kind of maybe even just reach out to you. It's like, hey, you know what? I have this business. I want to expand a little bit more. This I think it's just going to give you opportunity as well.
Yeah. Some MSPs and MSSPs, they do have a questionnaire that they uh, ask
Awesome.
the customer to answer it, but I'm not a big fan of that. I think if you want to do it right. And
Hmm.
the right way to do it is to performing a security and risk assessment of the environment. That
Hmm.
way, you will be able to create a security program uh, that it's right for the organization, that will fit the organization's needs, that will align with the business needs. Because you have to balance business and security.
Hmm.
It can't be unbalanced.
Hmm.
So the first step, perform a security and risk assessment that will identify all of the gaps. If you're missing a EDR, or if you're missing a security awareness training program, or if you're missing DNS security or whatever,
Hmm.
uh, that will be called out on the security risk assessment.
Okay.
Obviously, that at a very high level, you can quickly identify some things by performing some quick checks in the environment. But again, if you want to when you do something, do it right,
Hmm.
because it may be a little bit more expensive, but in the long run, it will save you a lot of money. And for those SMBs that are thinking of not creating a security program, or working or partnering with an MSSP,
Hmm.
I would say something. I can assure you that the cost of a data breach or a ransomware attack is way more than partner with a MSSP that could maybe prevent one of those attacks or lower the impact of
Hmm.
an attack. So think twice and make sure that you separate a budget for your security program.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. If you're gonna start it, might as well just do it right and get a full checkup on everything, just to see if everything's what's missing. And the thing I liked about what you said too, you kind of tailor with their situation. It's not something like I bring a whole pack. I got a bundle of services, and this is what you need. You're pretty much tailoring what their need and they're needing and what they're expecting to. So that's pretty awesome, man. That's a
Yeah.
good, really. I think
Hmm.
that's a really good business perspective and approach as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that I
Absolutely.
like that a lot. So let's go back to now we're going to ask a few questions here. So why is it good to know the OSI model and understanding the crucial in cybersecurity? Like, is that something that's gonna for like an entry level or trying to get into cybersecurity, you think that's a good benefit to understand the OSI model?
100%. You
Yep.
must know OSI model if
Okay.
you're willing to work in IT and in cybersecurity. Knowing how the OSI model works and how it fits to both IT and cybersecurity, it's paramount. So just a reminder here, OSI model, 7 layers, right?
Mhm.
Physical, data link, network, transport, session, presentation, and application. So knowing all that those 7 layers will help you to understand how things work and troubleshoot.
Mhm.
Because when you're troubleshooting something, you can correlate parts of your troubleshooting to the OSI model. Examples. If we're talking about a specific port, a TCP port or UDP port, we're talking about layer 4. In other words, transport layer.
Mhm.
If you're talking about IPs, we're talking about layer 3, network. If we go down to layer 2, MAC addresses, that's how wireless networks work.
Mhm.
So the communication between the endpoint and the access point, it's all layer 2. So you got to
Mhm.
know layer 2. You got to know MAC addresses. You got to know what happens at the layer 2 level. Now, if there is a problem with cabling or a Wi-Fi card or a device or a Ethernet cable, fiber optic, that's where comes in layer 1, right? Even
Mhm.
wireless frequencies,
Mhm.
right? You got to know layer 1. Now, other than that, if you tested all of those 4 layers and you couldn't find anything, the problem might be at layer 7 application. So again, OSI model is a must. If you don't know OSI model by heart, it's going to be hard to break into IT,
Mhm.
let alone cybersecurity. That's the
Yes.
basic foundation for everyone in IT to uh, to know that. That's paramount.
Yes. Yeah, I believe on that. I believe that the OSM model is one of the most important part, especially I believe in that's just the starting phase of IT. To start anything with the OSI model is gonna build that foundation of anything, and it just goes to everything. It goes to cyber, goes to networking, it goes to IT. And a lot of people have been asking me, like, what is the difference about IT and cybersecurity? Because a lot of people get confused of those two topics all the time. They always say, "Oh, I want to get an IT cybersecurity," or people categorize cybersecurity in a different way or IT in a different way. I know you mentioned it too. It's just IT or cybersecurity. What would you say was the main difference on that and how that kind of bridges the connection or not or disconnects the connection?
So IT nowadays, IT cannot live without security. And of
Hmm.
course, security cannot live without IT, right? Um, but IT, in essence, is making sure that all of the digital uh, assets that that your organization has, uh, the business nowadays, they run off of computers, they run off of the servers, they run off of the internet. I don't think there is a one single company out there that at least do not have a computer.
Yes.
Okay, so and at least access to the internet.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, IT will help the organization to keep moving forward, to keep the business running, uh, and it will support the systems, making sure those systems are have high availability, not meaning that they have redundancy or things like that, which they might have,
Hmm.
but keep those systems running as long as they can to so the business can continue to make money and serve their clients. Now, security comes in on top of that to help IT to deliver those services in a more secure way.
Hmm.
Because nowadays, threat actors out there, they just want they do not care if you're a small business, you're a big business, you're a large business. They just want money at the end of the day.
Hmm.
So now, when you can, if you can deliver those IT services with security minds, with a security mindset, or with a security on top of that, that is a plus to the business. Some business nowadays they need to prove that they have something related, some security controls in place.
Hmm.
Even if you want to get cyber insurance, you must prove that you have security controls in place.
Hmm.
Because if you don't, you're not gonna get cyber insurance. Insurance companies will not want to insure you in a case of a cyber incident. So again, two different things. They complement each other. They cannot survive without each other, and they are different things in a way that IT may have a pinch of security, and
Hmm.
security may have a pinch of IT. But if they stay on their lanes and they work together when they have to work together, that business will be successful.
Okay, okay. So they both pretty much work with each other in the end. It doesn't matter what type of what role are they at. They're still pretty much working together.
Yeah, they will always will, because if there is an incident, the SOC team usually will not go after the system because they might not have access to that system to remediate if
Mm.
something is going on. Then that's when the IT department comes in and helps the remediation with the recommendation coming from the SOC. So there's
Mm.
always going to be that um, that alignment, that collaboration
Hmm.
between those two teams. Always, 100%. Um, it's paramount as well to have that collaboration between those two departments within an organization.
Okay, I see, I see. Now I see what you're talking about now. So you kind of see like the IT would be more the system admin and pretty much the face of the of going proceeding through stuff and a hardware base, and cybersecurity is more of the back end. You pretty much don't see people, but they're already working. They're always working on something in the back end.
Yeah, and
Okay.
they must be 24/7 nowadays. It's paramount to be 24/7 because threat actors they don't sleep.
Yeah.
Although your business does not may not run 24/7, and maybe that's why you might not need a 24/7 IT department, but you you will need a 24/7 cybersecurity department or a cybersecurity team or a SOC team to be
Mm-hmm.
monitoring your environment 24/7 against um, threats.
Any threats? Okay. Okay, I can see that because yeah, threats never gonna stop. They're always gonna be. They just want you to slip up on one day, one little minute, and that's when they get in.
Yeah,
So that
exactly.
that makes a
They
lot of sense.
they just need one opportunity.
Yeah, one little opportunity, and
Hmm.
after that they're in, and it's game over from there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you think? Do you think that threat actors use a lot of maybe social engineering, email phishing, emails, like stuff like that? Do they do a lot of that, or do you think it's more of just like the hacking perspective? It's like, oh, I can hack your computer, or I can hack your firewall or something. Is it more like that, or is it more like the social engineering aspect too?
Uh, More of social engineering, absolutely. Nowadays, more than 90% of the data breaches or security incidents, they
Hmm.
start off with social engineering, either by uh, phishing emails or phone calls or something that it's trying to lure the user or lure people to get their credentials. Vulnerabilities, yes, you can exploit those, but the majority of the times you're probably going to need a credential. And by
Hmm.
needing a credential, the easiest way to get those credentials is by getting a user to
Pretty
give it
much
to
exposing
you,
them to, yeah,
and that's the way to go. So,
yeah. I think that's one of I believe that's one of the toughest parts to kind of stop because you don't know how it is, and it's just all talking, it's all chatting, and you never know.
mhm.
It's the toughest part.
Yep.
Uh, have you noticed that it's just been growing, the social engineering aspect? Has it been like more of a threat now since in the past or in a few years?
It has been mostly like that for most of the past years, I would say, mainly
Okay.
because uh, threat the threat actors are getting more and more sophisticated,
Uh-huh.
on both by being able to exploit vulnerabilities, but
Hmm.
also coming up with different ways to uh, different creative ways to get credentials from users. They
Hmm.
create fake websites. They try to take advantage of disasters,
Okay.
situations, such as the
That's a
LA
good, very
fire.
good. That's some really good points right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I think I seen you post that
Yep.
they had multiple fake websites and they were targeting the people with the fires. That's a really good topic. If you want to talk about that, that'd be great.
Multiple fake domains, not fake domains, but malicious domains, I would call it.
Hmm.
That was one example. Another example was during the CrowdStrike outage as well
Hmm.
in July. They did the same thing. They created lots of malicious domains so they could pose as CrowdStrike support to help
Oh
the
shoot,
organizations.
that's
Yeah,
tough.
that's not good. They try to take advantage uh, of people that are willing to help,
Hmm.
um, and try to take advantage of them. And for the LA fire, as an example, they were trying to create like um, kind of like GoFundMe,
Hmm.
where you can donate money for a cause. Um, but they create fake websites, and what you're doing is you're not helping anyone. You're just giving your money away to threat
Some random
actors,
person, yeah.
and that's not a good thing to
That's
do. So
tough. That's tough. Yeah, especially just like you're trying to help somebody and this just that all that stuff is pretty much gonna backfire on you. Yeah, that's
that's why
pretty
you
much
have
the.
to. That's why you have to try to always go through the uh, legitimate ways that you know, like go
Okay.
to the CrowdStrike website, call the CrowdStrike support coming that you can see on the website. If there is any kind of relief fund to those who were affected by the fire, check if it's a official government website or if it's a reputable um, organization that does that constantly over and over
Mm.
again when disasters happen. So that's the best way to go, and not just believe in someone who might shared a post from someone else, and
Yes.
then that can generate a cascade effect
Mm.
that could affect a lot of people and innocent people that are just have good heart and they are
Hmm.
willing to help someone else.
Yeah, unfortunately, they pretty much take advantage of people's feelings and just see if they're willing to help, or they take their emotions basically. Like they see their emotions, and like the fire, a lot of people got pretty much emotional and they wanted to help, so they pretty
Mhm.
much took advantage of that. And I did see that you had a list of the domains. If you don't mind me asking, like where do you get those that information, or where can you find that in the public internet?
So um, I usually get the threat intelligence coming from government agencies, the cybersecurity government agencies, since I work for a state agency.
Okay,
Um, I'm
that makes
able to
sense.
subscribe to the threat intelligence that comes from MSSP,
Okay,
and for specifically, and also from California CSIC. I don't remember what it stands for, but you can look it up. California CSIC. Specifically for that, for the LA wildfires, I got it from Call CSIC.
okay,
And then for the CrowdStrike outage, I got it at first from MSISEC, and then I added more domains that came from a reputable DNS security company called
mm,
DNS Filter.
okay. Good
So
to
you
know.
have to be aware of what's out there to not only to help the organization that you work for, but also share that threat intelligence across the board, so other people who might not might not have access to that threat intelligence,
Hmm.
to use that to their favor so they can protect themselves against those malicious attackers.
That's good to know. That's good to know. Yeah, because I've seen the page, and that was a lot of domains. I
Yeah,
think that was, yeah, it was easily more than 40 domains I seen.
much
It
more
was a
than that,
lot.
many more
Yeah,
than that. I think it
I
was
see.
about hundreds of that.
Yeah, it was. I think it was like 6 pages full of domains. So
Yeah,
it was a lot, and
yeah,
yeah, I think it had like 40 in each page. No, not even more. It was a lot.
yeah. It was a lot. I can tell you it was a lot. It was not uh, just like 5 or 6 domains. It
Yeah, it
could,
was multiple
I would
ones.
say, couple between 100 and 200 domains
Yes.
around that.
Yeah, that's insane. And that's gonna constantly happen. So it's just like something that we're all gonna have to look into it. And that's good to be sharing that information. If it's like something that we can help each other out, it's great, especially for the
Hmm.
people that like to doing this. That's good to have.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, what else can you tell me a little bit more? Can you tell me a little bit more like how things are going towards like the MDRs, any threat managements that you think that's gonna grow, or something like any application softwares that you think is gonna end up growing, or there's something that's gonna maybe come by and replace it, like AI or something, or new things coming out. Do you think there's anything like that is gonna change?
Yeah. So one of the things that I've been seeing happening out there is automating and triaging the low level alerts.
Okay.
So to take off the burden out of the SOC analysts, because they're Alert fatigue is a thing. It happens.
Hmm.
You ended up getting so many alerts that sometimes it might happen you to overlook one or the other, and that's not
Mm.
good. So I've seen I've seen vendors, security vendors, creating new products that what they do is they try to automate those alerts as much as
Hmm.
they can, and working with AI as well, right? So they embed it with AI, and they try to automate that as much as they can. Uh, I'm still a believer of people.
Hmm.
People is the most valuable asset of an organization. And when you have people, you have brains, and
Hmm.
people can learn a lot. AI can learn, but people have that way of thinking that AI do not have.
Hmm.
So doesn't have. So again, a combination of those two things will probably be the future within the next 2 to 3 years. So automating some of the alerts, but also having people being able to investigate those alerts and determine if it's a true positive or if it's a false positive. Uh, that's a trend that I've been seeing in the past 6 months. It could be good. There's a potential. Some MSSPs are already doing that, uh, so they can minimize, increase their accuracy in false positives and true positives, but also lower the MTTD, mean time to detect, and lower the MTTR, mean time to respond as well.
Mm.
It's all about being quick to detect, being quick to respond to a possible incident, but if as long as you have that high certainty that it's a true positive. So I think that's the main trend that I've been seeing the past 6 months when it comes to
Okay.
MSSPs. But that's related to Security Operations Center, right? The SOC team.
Hmm.
There are different things out there uh, as well. EDRs are becoming more and more sophisticated. They
Hmm.
are adding other features to complement the EDR solution that it's already in place. They are becoming more aware of the behavior of the host, enhancing their way of creating detection rules to better detect potential threats.
Hmm.
They are enhancing their way of using indicators of compromise.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, you have to have someone managing in the back end. So again, comes back to people. So people
Okay.
will still be the most valuable asset of a MSSP, no matter what.
And you did mention about that you're a believer on having people on your team. You still believe in that. Do you think
Yeah.
when you're in your role with the MSSP, was there any automated or any AI at the moment? I know it was a few years back, but was it something that you're kind of pretty much advancing to it?
Yes, we were. But unfortunately, I do not work for the MSSP anymore. But we were gearing towards to some kind of low level automation
Okay.
in some points. But I unfortunately I did not have the opportunity to keep moving forward
Hmm.
with those things that we wanted to do,
Hmm.
those projects. But I'm sure that there are MSSPs that are doing out there, and I know of a few of them that they do that already.
Okay.
Yeah.
I noticed that you have a strong belief in MSSPs because you came from that and they showed you pretty much. Do you feel like it made you who you are pretty much for like the technical and business and everything. It pretty much kind of like it gave you that experience, it gave you that role. It showed you how to be more efficient of everything. Do you think that was something that helped you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm a believer of MSSP if it fits well to the business that you're partnering with, right?
Okay.
So you can also have your own IT department, your own your own SOC team. And that's okay. If you have the budget, if you have the need, you have the business need, and if you and at the end of the day, it's probably budget. But if you have the business need to have internal team, maybe it's a regulatory thing. It's a regulation. Maybe you must have some that internal team, uh, and it's okay. But if you don't have the budget, you maybe do some kind of a co-managed environment where you may have internal IT, internal security team, but you augment that with a MSP or a MSSP. So the MSP, MSSP cover the gaps that you have as internal IT department and internal security department. Again, you
Mm,
can't do it all if you have a small team. So
yeah.
if you can outsource that to another organization to help you, it will help you to focus on more on things that are more geared towards the business, and you
Hmm.
can help the business thrive with the help of a MSP and MSSP. The MSP and MSSP, they're always going to be there to help you.
Hmm.
That's their goal. They want to enable your business to be more effective in terms of the digital transformation or cybersecurity, or being or serving your employees by having a help desk, helping them by, hey, I need to reset my password, or I forgot my
Hmm.
password, or I'm locked out of my computer. Those
Hmm.
little things, outsource it to a managed service provider. Detection 24/7. It's hard to build a team that is 24/7. It's hard to find people that will get excited and to work 24/7 for one organization. So
Mm, yeah.
it's easier for you to outsource that, because then people who are working 24/7, they will have exposure to different environments, to different organizations, to different industries, and they will learn a lot. And I hope that those things get them excited to
Hmm.
learn more and more. So again, it depends on your business model and depends on your business needs.
Okay.
I You can fully outsource it. You can co-manage, having the MSP or MSSP help you, or you can have your in-house IT department, in-house SOC team, and that's totally fine as long as you are able to meet your business requirements. You should be good.
Okay. That's good. That's good to know. Yeah, because I've been to other companies that they do have a combination of both. They have MSSPs and they have the internal teams or internal cybersecurity teams. And I was curious about that a while. Like, why do they have that? But that makes sense what you're saying. It pretty much kind of bridges the gaps. There's gaps in that, so that makes a lot more sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. And you think I know we haven't got to this topic, but. For the MSSPs, do you think it's a good entry level for that, or is it something that if you're pretty much working for an organization, a bigger organization, if you want to go to MSSP, would that be the route, or is it going better to MSSP than going to an organization for growth?
What gets you excited the most?
Okay.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
You may love what you do in the organization that you're
Hmm.
working with, and you only have one environment,
Hmm.
right? So it's theoretically it's easier. Theoretically, it's easier to manage one environment than 30, 40, 50 environments, right?
Yes.
But you're only going to get exposure to things that your organizations choose to implement.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and those vendors that the organization work with, they might be stay there for quite a while. They
Mm-hmm.
might have your organization to sign an agreement for 3 years, for 5 years, or whatever, you know. On the other side of the MSSP, you're dealing with different things. If you're working for MSSP, you might not have the saying to that client on which EDR they should use.
Oh, okay, okay.
You might not have a saying on which firewall they use. You might
Mm-hmm.
not have a saying on how the patch management works. You may recommend, but is that part of the service that you were hired for, you were contracted for? So back to your question, I would say there is no right and wrong
Mm-hmm.
on either going to work for MSSP or working for a security team that it's in-house to a medium to large sized organization.
Mm-hmm.
But what excites you the most? What gets you up in the morning? Is it that passion that you have to help multiple different organizations and learning
Mm-hmm.
different ways of doing things, troubleshooting things, investigating different types of incidents because they are being the alerts are coming from different environments, or you want to be very good in one single environment and make sure that you can be the you have the keys of the kingdom. You know how things work. You know all the processes. You know people, uh, and you can secure that organization as much as you can. So there's no right and wrong here. Uh,
Okay.
at the end of the day, it's what gets you excited and what gets you up in the morning. I love both. I Today I work for one organization, but I have clients as well within their
Mm-hmm.
organization. Um, a little bit different from an MSSP. So again, I I have the passion for both of those, and that's why I'm talking about MSSPs today here because I have this passion in me that MSSP is there to help you.
Okay. I think the way that you're explaining the MSSP gave you a lot of how can I say it gave you a lot of different expertise. It opened a lot of different doors to you. It wasn't you weren't specialized in just one thing, even though your role was for maybe some one specific thing, but you pretty much did a little bit of everything. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, I did a
Okay.
little bit of everything in the beginning when we were building the cybersecurity program and the
Okay.
cybersecurity division. I was a SOC analyst. I was a security engineer. I was a security and risk assessor. I was a
Oh
virtual
shoot.
CISO. I was a security program builder and creator. I was a CISO. So
That's a lot.
I wore a lot of hats until I
Yes.
got to the job position.
Okay.
Uh, and that was part of the process. And I was able to learn a lot because I wore different hats since from the beginning. I was a network engineer. I was the Wi-Fi engineer. I had multiple roles in a
Hmm.
span of 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Because that shows you a little bit of everything in those 4 years. You kind of get an experience of everything, pretty much get an expertise of a little bit of the things that you have.
Yeah.
That's another question that kind of sparked up right now when you told me about that. What do you think about, let's say you're a network engineer and they give you opportunities to go to, let's say like a virtual CISO or something different, like it's out of your picture, out of your scope. And what would you say do you see that as more of an opportunity, or do you see that more like, oh, this guy or my company just trying to take advantage of me because I know a little bit of that. Do you see that as a negative or as a positive? Like, they're giving you an opportunity, or they're just trying to take advantage of you? What
I
would you
always
see
see
that?
I always see as a positive thing,
Mm-hmm.
unless I've been proven wrong with bad experiences in the past
Mm-hmm.
that I've been through, or that people who work for the same organization have been through as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I always see it as a learning opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You're being exposed to something different, something new, something out of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned this during our previous podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Always try to be outside of your comfort zone, but not too far away, because
Mm-hmm.
that could be risky. But being a little bit away, a little bit away from your comfort zone will always help you to stretch and be better
Mm-hmm.
and learn different things. And the more you do that, all of a sudden, quote unquote, more opportunities will show up
Yeah.
in front of you.
Yeah, I
And
do believe
that's
that.
not because they want to give you that opportunity, because you're the chosen one,
Yes.
because you're Neo. No, you're not Neo. It's because
Yeah.
people saw that you are open to learn, and you're always stepping out of your comfort zone. You're always doing what they ask for,
Mhm.
and you do it with a smile in your face
Yeah,
because you love what you do.
that's
And no
true.
wonder they're going to give you more opportunities.
Yeah.
It's not because it just fell on your lap. It's
Yeah.
because they see that people are
Yeah.
seeing what you do, and they
Yeah.
will begin to trust you in a way that you think, why they're trusting me? No, they are trusting you because you are a person who is willing to get things done.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good to know. That's good to know. I know I would get that a lot of feedback from a lot of people. They always tell me, like, "Hey, Efren, why do you do so much? You know that's not part of your role, and that's not part of your pay rate." But I look at, from my perspective, I've always looked at it as an opportunity. It's like, okay, they're giving me this. It's an opportunity for me to grow and understand this and learn the fundamentals of this. Like, they gave me, as an IT, we don't work on really projects, but they've gave me opportunities for projects. They gave me opportunities to pretty much supervise. It gave me opportunities to be a lead. And of course, it's not an official title or anything, but it's pretty much they're giving me opportunities to do this, to run on multiple sites, to run multiple projects, um, to be like the second hand in command. Pretty much they gave me these opportunities, and I've shown them. I was like, hey, look, like you said, give a smile, always be happy, willing to work on it. And of course, I don't think I was ready, but I've worked for it, I've understood it, and pretty much it just made me who I am. And I think I see those opportunities as a great thing.
Yeah. And
So,
for those people who told you that, hey, why are you doing this? It's not part of your job role or job description.
yes,
People will do this. So
yes,
again, don't let ever somebody tell you that you can't do something.
yes,
People can do it themselves, and they will tell you you can't do it. So
hmm,
that's how it works.
yes,
They're gonna always try to stop you. Don't let
hmm.
them tell you you can't do something. Just go ahead and do it.
No, I appreciate that, man. That was uh, that was something I wanted to get from you too. Okay. So let's go. Now we're gonna talk about a little bit about security technologies and labs and hands-on experiences. So what would you say, like, I know we're talking about we talked about labs earlier, and I know you mentioned about some great labs that you mentioned before, like Try Hack Me, some Cisco labs, physical labs, and you also mentioned another one. It was something related to Blue Team. I
Yeah,
forgot
so
where.
yeah, so there's a certification called Blue Team Level 1 and Blue Team Level 2. They are pretty good.
Okay.
And their price is fair for what
Mm-hmm.
they offer. It's a training that you do, and they have a lot of labs, and you're gonna learn to be not to be a SOC analyst, but you're gonna learn how a blue team or a SOC analyst what they do on the day-to-day basis, right? And
Hmm.
blue team level one, it's kind of like being a SOC, entry-level SOC,
Okay.
okay? SOC analyst, I'm sorry, entry-level SOC analyst.
Uh-huh.
Uh, try Hack Me, they just created a certification as well that
Okay.
it's pretty much similar to blue team level one.
Okay.
So, and they do have a lot of, and they have labs that you can
Hmm.
pay like in a monthly basis.
Okay.
If I'm not wrong, it's about 12 to 15 bucks a month,
Yeah, it's
and you
around there.
have
It's
a,
not that expensive.
it's gonna get you access to a lot of labs. So again, resources nowadays is way easier compared to the old days.
Yes.
Um, what you mentioned about packet tracer, that's really focused on networking and
Hmm.
kind of focused on Cisco devices, and
Yes.
that's okay, but it gives you the ability to understand how networking works, you know.
Yes.
uh, Physical labs, sure, you may have one, like some servers that people are not, like organizations are not using anymore, outdated software that, of course, organizations would not use that anymore. But you can
Yes.
build your own thing. You know,
Hmm.
you can run Oracle VirtualBox if you have
Hmm.
a beefy machine. You can run multiple VMs. You can run a Windows VM. You can run a Kali Linux VM,
Hmm.
um, and you can learn from it. But at the end of the day, the Try Hack Me and Blue Team Level 1, those are the pretty good ones that will give you a good understanding of the blue of a blue team and of a SOC as well.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Try hack me, and I know you mentioned about the other one, the the blue team. I think they are pretty credible. You just mentioned that. Try hack me. I've seen it multiple places, multiple places.
Yeah.
Also hack the box is one of them I heard about. Um, I'm currently using one. It's called Let's Defend. It's pretty fresh, so it's still pretty good. I like that one a lot. So yeah, but yeah, try hack me. I believe that one's more like a red team, but I'm kind of surprised that they got to the blue team perspective. So that finally they did that. So that was good.
As long as you are learning,
Yeah.
uh, you're good. You know,
Yeah.
you may choose your platform of choice, but as long as you're
Mhm.
learning, it's
Yeah.
all good. There are some learning uh, platforms that are well recognized out there.
Hmm.
Uh, so you have to ponder those things, but still, as long as you're learning, that's the way to
Yeah.
go.
So that's an example. If you see if you're part like if you're in the hiring process, do you see those like the try hack me certifications or the blue team certifications? Would you see those by any chance, or are you just like, okay, maybe he did it, that's it, or would you kind of pick his brain about it?
Well, I see it, and of course I'm going to ask questions about it.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to believe because you may you were able to pass or you did some labs, but what have you learned from it?
Hmm.
Let's test it out. Let's see if
Hmm.
you actually learned. Um, Again, you may have all the certifications you want, but do you have the knowledge?
Yeah.
So you have to trust but verify.
Yes. That's true. That's true. I know some people are very book smart, man, and they just pass, but they can't understand the how things work, man.
Exactly.
So now you mentioned about certifications. What would you say about certifications? What would be a really good entry level for, let's say you're trying to get an MSSP or an organization, cybersecurity? I know there's a little topics of everything, but what would be the basic certification that you're looking for somebody for
Um,
cybersecurity?
CompTIA, Security Plus, Network Plus. There are other CompTIA certifications out there as well. Pen Pentest is Pentest Plus specifically to Pentest, but CCNA from Cisco, I will
Hmm.
always recommend that one, no matter what.
I hear
From
great things about CCNA.
Yeah, ISC Square, the certified in cybersecurity CC, the blue team level 1, it's pretty
Hmm.
good. The certification that Try Hack Me just created, there's a potential to be good as well. Um, Microsoft certifications like Azure, AWS certifications, maybe. But to me, the most important ones are the ones that will provide you a great foundation. So CCNA, CompTIA Security Plus, uh, ISC Square CC, certified in cybersecurity, um, and I would say Blue Team Level 1 as well.
Okay. So they'll be
Yeah,
like your four main ones that you see. Pretty much like they'll be like the ones that you're looking to.
I would love to see those in a resume.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think about the CC of IEC Square? Do you think it's valuable or is that it's just pretty much like a certification? They just throw it out there just to
It's a
help you
good
get it.
certification for entry level.
Yeah.
It gets you a general understanding of cybersecurity. Okay,
Okay.
so it combined with Network Plus or Security Plus and CCNA, and then Blue Team Level 1 will give you a pretty good, solid foundation,
Okay.
coupled
That's good to
with
know.
experience if you can get as well.
Yes. Yeah, that's pretty good. My goal for me, it was more like going to the Security Plus and just kind of skip the CC. What would you say on that?
Uh, it's as long as you apply yourself on Security Plus, uh, get the CNA.
CNA
Uh,
is one of the ones I want to.
uh, if you don't want to go all the way to
On
CNA, you
CCNA.
may go to Network Plus. It also gives you a good foundation.
Hmm.
Uh, you may skip CC if you want to. That's okay. As again, you gotta have the knowledge.
Yes.
Certification is good, but you gotta have the knowledge. If
Hmm.
you see that CC, you got the knowledge from other places, it's fine. No
Okay.
matter, it's okay. Uh, if I would recommend one or the other, I would recommend Security Plus over CC.
Okay. Good to know.
But
Good to know,
I
man.
would not not recommend CC. I would always recommend CC as well, but it's
Yes.
just a matter of what you have in your what you have in mind
Yes.
for your goals.
That's good. That's good. Pretty much like what's in your standing so far, how much you know. If you're like fresh into cyber, I say CC would be the best route.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is another one. What should an entry analyst focus, like cybersecurity analyst, focus on network security, mail security? What would SOC analyst? What would be the best focus for them if they want to get into a entry level SOC analyst?
Networking and systems.
Networking
They
system.
must know those
That was
two
a quick one.
things. Yeah. And then of course cybersecurity concepts as well.
Okay.
And learn how to triage alerts and how to investigate that first line of investigation.
Hmm.
What are the tools that I can use to investigate that alert? Like, okay, what's the destination IP address? What's the port that it's trying to exploit?
Hmm.
Is that IP address considered malicious? uh,
Hmm.
is there a file hash involved in this on this alert? um, is it using different processes on Windows? Is it escalating privileges within Windows? So knowing networking, because then you gotta know IP addresses, ports, protocols, and all of that. And
Hmm.
knowing system, knowing processes within that operational system. And let's talk about Windows here to be more specific. You know,
Yeah.
processes, you know, Windows event IDs, you
Hmm.
know, specific services that run on Windows. And if something happens to that specific service, it might be an indication of attack.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if there is a file hash that is considered to be malicious because it already has an IOC for it, IOC for it. So knowing systems that you're going to work with and for, and knowing networking, key. And then you're going to learn security concepts on top of that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So pretty much getting the fundamentals too from systems, get the networking, and then after that go to the security.
100%. Always.
Okay.
If you do it, if you skip that step, it's you're gonna fall behind a little bit,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, I can see that because it's everything just kind of like it goes back and forth in a way. You have to learn the systems, you have to learn the networking aspect with IPs and how things are tracked, and like you just mentioned about the systems on the Windows, like all those little back end stuff that you'll have to learn.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot more sense. Okay, great, great, great. So in this, when you're getting into cybersecurity, you think do you work close with the GRC team members or is it more of a separation with each other?
They are separate, but when when the report comes out, then you work together, right?
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, um, the GRC team will help you to create a plan of action and milestones after they perform an assessment.
Hmm.
And what they're going to do is they're going to work with the security engineers, for example, or work with the SOC team on how to mitigate some of the findings,
Hmm.
right? They want to make sure that the risk of the organization is as low as they possibly can get. As low it is as low as it can get.
Hmm.
Um, and there has to be some kind of collaboration between those two teams because one is operations, the other one is GRC. Um, so sometimes there will be compliance, um, and by compliance, sometimes you have to abide to some regulations that are
Hmm.
out of your control. So
Okay, okay.
they will work. They are separate teams, and they usually work together after an assessment is performed of that environment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for as a CISO that you are right now, do they whenever there's a let's say like when you have your analyst team and did everybody bring you the documentation and everything that would that be combined with the GRC and also with the cybersecurity team? They will pretty much get it together and present it to you, or how would that work with you?
Yeah, so the GRC team would present those reports to the CISO, to the SOC manager, maybe, to the engineering team as well, depending on the size of your organization and depending on how your organization is structured.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, the CISO will take that and decide what is going to be the prioritization of those remediations and what's the most important to the organization, what what presents the most risk to the organization, and there has to be a decision on how to prioritize the remediations as well. So the CISO will be in the meeting, of course, with the SOC manager and the security manager, uh, the GRC manager as well. So it's all about a team. There has to be a collaboration from everyone within the organization, and even we Even the IT department as well would be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shoot, so all three of them work together, huh? Somehow.
Yeah, there will yeah, when it comes to enhance the security program,
Uh-huh.
I think you can't do it alone. You have to have collaboration within different teams. They are all part of the
Mhm.
process. They are all part of the program. They are all important.
Mhm.
If someone or if a department or a team is not collaborating, that means something's wrong. So
Mhm.
there has to be collaboration.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, it makes sense that everybody has to be working together, just everybody be in the same plan of everything.
Mhm. Yep.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So that's good. That's good. That's a good perspective. I never thought that they were. I know Cyber and GRC were already working together, but I never thought about the IT also bridging that connection. But that's good. That's good to know. Um, so let me see what other questions we have. What do you think about cloud security? That's something that I also wanted to ask them before we start this. But what do you think about cloud security and system engineering? Like, you think is that's gonna be growing too, the cloud security?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If your organization is they have like cloud services,
Mhm.
Google Cloud, AWS, and or Azure, they you must protect those those
Yeah,
resources.
yeah.
So and there are vendors out there that they do cloud security. Their specialty is cloud security. So Wiz is one example. They do cloud security.
Okay.
At the end of the day, you're just securing something that it's not on-prem. It's out there.
Yes.
Uh, Same concept, different way of implementing things, but at the end of the day, that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna secure that. We Getting into the specifics, it really depends on what you have in the cloud. Uh,
Yes.
Example, Azure, not Azure AD anymore, but Entra ID. There are a lot of security controls that you can implement
Hmm.
depending on the level of licensing that you have with
Okay.
Microsoft, right?
Hmm.
Uh, Same thing, and the if you have an on-prem environment as well, you have to make sure that there is security between that sync that happens between Entra ID and your on-prem Active Directory.
Mm.
Uh, Protecting your Microsoft 365 users, right? Because it's open out there for everyone because it's portal.office.com, right?
Yes.
But there are ways for you to GeoIP block that, so you can block countries, so those countries do not have access to your environment by any means. So
Okay.
cloud security, there is a lot uh,
Yes.
to talk about, and but at the end of the day, just think that you're protecting your servers or
Yeah.
your environment somewhere else and not on-prem.
Yeah. I think that's a tough subject right there because you're not your cloud servers, of course, they're not gonna be on-prem. So now you're pretty much you're hoping for Microsoft or AWS, any all these companies to protect your data. So that's when you pretty much need that cybersecurity team, right? To be in the middle looking at everything else. Is that correct?
They will provide you high availability. They
Uh-huh.
will provide you very basic security, but it's your environment. You're paying for it, and you have to secure it. So at the end of the day, it's your responsibility uh,
Mhm.
to secure your data, to secure uh, your environment. Microsoft, they or Azure or Google or Amazon, they all have security. Of course, I'm not saying that, but you don't spin up a server in the cloud and leave everything open. That's on you.
Yes.
That's not in
That's
in
another.
AWS or Azure. You know.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. What do you think about the cloud security, man? You think it's in the beginning were you kind of like iffy about it? You didn't want to do it, or was it like, you know what, let's proceed through it. Let's try it out.
That depends on, again, it goes back to the depends answer. You have to meet your business needs and how your business works. If you're 100% remote work, like, or pretty much remote workers you have in your organization,
Mm-hmm.
there's no reason to have things on-prem. It's
Mm-hmm.
better just offload it to the cloud. Now, if the majority of your employees work from the office, that could be different, right? If you have a hybrid policy, you could do both, you know. But at the end of the day, it's about what's best for your business.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that I can tell what's best or not, but it's what's best for your business. Yes, cloud environments has become more and more compelling,
Mm-hmm.
but it still has a high cost.
Oh, okay, okay.
So compared to on-prem uh, environments. So
Okay, okay.
you got to decide which one's best for you.
It's pretty much how you just gotta figure it out what works best first.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. That's good. That's good to know. Okay, so we're just on basically on our last two questions.
Yeah.
Uh, so what do you see in cybersecurity? Are there going to be any subcategories, any other focus people, other subcategories that might pop up? Let's say like we just mentioned about cloud security, we mentioned about network security, systems security. Do you think there's any other subcategories might pop up that might be something that people keep an eye on or should work on?
AI.
AI?
AI. Yeah.
Okay. That was a quick one too.
Yeah. AI. AI is just booming over
Yes.
like a lot. So you got to learn how to integrate AI within your environment and how to secure your environment against insider threats and
Hmm.
outsider threats that could use AI to malicious activities, you know?
Okay.
So learning how to secure AI, how to make sure that your data is not going to be exposed either intentionally or unintentionally by either a user that it's not tech savvy or for
Hmm.
a user that knows what they're doing.
Hmm.
So to me, one of the biggest things that are going to be needed for the next 2 to 5 years is someone who knows how to integrate tools and AI to help the organization to uh, be more effective in their business and to use AI to make things better internally, make processes better, make decisions better. And at the end of the day, the business will thrive if they use AI in a way that will help them to uh, be more effective.
Okay.
Yeah.
So AI is definitely going to be one of the biggest ones. It's going to be like one of the, I could say like beneficial and also risky, just for the
Yes.
things that you can input and the things that it can pretty much translate and what makes it okay.
Mhm.
Do you think in this AI security, do you think that it's going to be more of on-prem? Like, are they going to have the on-prem server somehow, or they're pretty much going to use a third party like ChatGPT? Microsoft. I don't know which was Microsoft.
Copilot,
Copilot, that's the
Copilot.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Copilot.
I believe that it's gonna be a combination of on-prem LLMs, AI, and cloud AIs, let's call it, right?
Hmm.
And that's why we need to be careful
Yes.
because your data may be out there unintentionally, unintentionally. So we're gonna have a combination of those two things for quite a while
Okay.
until people get more comfortable, people understand better how AI works, how to secure AI, how to secure the data, how to classify and categorize data, uh, and how to give the proper access control for
Hmm.
data, for people. It's going to take a while. It's a journey,
Yes.
but in 2 to 5 years, that's when things are going to start booming because then people, they are some organizations are already have staffing, already have people in staff on staff that are working with AI and trying it out, understanding until it gets to a point where okay, we're ready to move forward with AI, either those cloud AIs like ChatGPT or Copilot
Hmm.
or Gemini,
Hmm.
or just running some LLM internally.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I can see that the little bit of combination of both. What is something to prevent putting on the AI? I know I personally think it's just like putting anything personal. I think that's something that is just you should never put in the AI because you don't know where that information is being stored at.
Personal things, personal PII, PFI, PHI, personal health information, personal financial information, personal identifiable information, any confidential data from your organization,
Hmm.
intellectual property, client information, all of those things. You have to be careful because as soon as you put
Hmm.
it out there, there's no way back.
Yeah, pretty much like social media, man. You post a picture,
Yeah,
that thing's all over the place now.
yeah,
You might think it's
it's
safe, but
over.
no, that's in all type of servers. No, yeah, that's true, that's true. And that's a really good niche about the AI. And that's amazing that you're mentioning in about 2 to 3 years. That's really fast. Really, really fast.
And that's going to be for those organizations who want to be in the forefront of their industry.
Hmm.
Not a lot will adopt AI, but those who will adopt AI will be at the forefront of their industry, and also those professionals who will learn how to work with AI, they will also be on the forefront of their careers.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I seen a video or article. I forgot where I seen it, but they said that like there's no way for escaping AI. Just learn. You gotta learn it already. You just gotta figure it out because there's no way that this is gonna end.
Yeah, exactly.
And also now that we're talking about the AI, what do you think about the DeepSeek? Have you heard about DeepSeek?
Yes, I did. I have my
Well,
reservations about it.
yeah. You have any
Yeah,
thoughts? Any public thoughts you want to say?
I would not use it.
I
That's
know there
it.
was a lot of a lot of issues in the beginning, and then they
Yeah,
hyped up so much, and they started figuring out a lot of things.
yeah.
Okay.
I just keep that aside.
No, it's understandable. Okay, so what else? Well, okay, future-proof career cybersecurity is pretty much that's AI, huh? That's a future-proof right there. Anything else
Yeah,
that you can think of?
but just keep up with the threat landscape that is out there. Keep
Hmm.
yourself up to date. Keep studying. Keep learning. Keep reading. Uh, Life is an endless learning experience, so don't just stop. Always keep learning. If you always keep learning, your chances to be successful will be way higher than those who are not learning something in in their daily lives.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And proven fact, like you mentioned, man, you came from what was it, a network engineer in the beginning, and you just grew up to being a CISO, man, and that's a big step up, man. That's not something that you can just say, you know what, I'm gonna be a CISO the next day, man. It's not.
True.
It's a big step, man. It took a lot of work, and I bet you it was a little harsh in the beginning, but it's definitely worth it, man. I'm glad for you. I'm
Yeah.
happy for you. It's
Yeah.
a big
Thank you.
step, man.
Thank you.
Well, I think that's pretty much it, man. You got anything else you want to say? You want to say anything to the video? Anything you want to say to the people? Any
Yeah,
advice? Anything, tips?
absolutely. Once again, Efren, thank you for having me. We, I think what you're doing for everyone out there is amazing. It's great to see that you have that heart where you want to help people, to make sure that, hey, you have to give as much as you can and not expect anything back. So,
Yes. I appreciate it, man.
and everything you're doing is pretty good, and keep up the good work, keep up being intentional, keep up being intentional, keep up being trying to help other people. I truly believe that there's a future out there for you, and you're going to be great. Okay.
Thank you,
And
man. Thank you.
for everyone who is listening, I do appreciate you taking the time to listen and watch this podcast. I hope the information that Efren and I provided to you today is useful. And if you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate in contacting both of us. Drop your comments on the chat on the video, and we will be more than happy to answer all of those questions.
Thank you, man. And again, man, you were here turning famous, man. You told me that you were 3 hours away, 4 hours away, and people are already noticing you, man. So
True. That
yeah.
was amazing.
So more to come. I know we're gonna have more videos coming up soon.
Yeah,
We'll figure out more topics little by little. But yeah, I'm glad that we were able to get this. And of course, thank you again, twice again. We might be the third one and fourth one, and we're just gonna keep going, man. Keep going, and
exactly.
we'll until you get tired of me bugging you, man.
That's not gonna happen. We're
Nah,
together
but
on this.
yeah, no, thank you, man. And again, I appreciate everything, all the advice for sure. Giving me give some good advice, and thank you for the positive feedback, and that's great, man. I'm glad that that's you're noticing it, other people are noticing it, and it's it's a little motivational, man. It motivates me every day.
Keep it up, man.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Okay, so that should be it, man. All right,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you.